Happy Saturday, it's Ebony, and I'm back with another video. And this time we're going to talk about some things that ain't nobody told me about Medellin as a single black female and mother traveling solo. Okay, so I want to just tell you some things from my point of view. A lot of YouTube videos are coming from the men perspective, especially the single male looking to have fun. But it's so hard to find content from a black female's perspective who's looking to travel the world for different experiences other than the nightlife and, that type of fun. So I'm traveling the world because I'm really looking for a place for me and my son that feels good, that feels safe, that's affordable, and where we feel comfortable and welcome to live in. The U.S. was not the place for. I don't. The U.S. is going through something right now, so we're gonna give it a little time to heal while we move on. But I haven't quite found that place. I thought Colombia would be that place for me, but no. So I want to just bring to you some things that are not so good about Colombia. The first thing is it's noisy. You've heard it before, but it is. It's so noisy. What do I mean by that? Like, it's a lot of people that live here. If you look on the mountains in the back, you probably can't see it, but those are neighborhoods. So we got all this down here and around the corner, right? But then on the mountains, you got like a whole different world up there, and the mountains are for all your eyes to see. Like you cannot see the end of the mountains, and it's like that in most parts of Colombia. They just be having babies. Like it's so many people here and it's crowded, and that contributes to the noise. The quietest time is between, like, I would say midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning to about four. Before midnight and after 4 in the morning, you're gonna hear trucks coming up and down. It's loud, and I don't know what they do with their truck exhaust because they're loud. And it's like y'all don't have pollution stipulations. Y'all don't have noise control, but it's so loud. And so that makes it hard to think, to feel grounded, to just have some space to yourself. Even though I live on the 18th floor, and I don't know if you guys can hear that, they're building a whole building right in front of me. So they work 6 days a week, every day but Sunday. So from like 6:30 to 6 at night until the sun goes down, they're working, and they're almost done with this building. Then we got two schools on both sides of us, loud. It's just loud, and it's a lot of people, and it can be very overwhelming. It's like New York times 10. And so me, I'm learning myself again because I've changed all the time. And so Costa Rica was just too boring. It wasn't enough going on. Costa Rica is for vacation for me, or if you're retired. But Medellin is like New York times 10. It's crazy. So, you could get overwhelmed pretty easily. Just be on the lookout for that, especially when you're traveling with kids. My son is 7. So I'm always on alert. Like, watch out for that car. Come on, cross the street. Relax, move out the way. Come over here. It keeps you on higher alert when you have kids. That's the downside about Medellin. If I was here by myself, I think I would still be overwhelmed because I'm still learning the language, and the people here are kind of interesting. I'll get to that later. But with kids, it's overwhelming. Okay, number two is the men are weird. The men are not all of them, but a lot of them I would just stay away from. So I'll tell you this story. On my first day when I came here, August 31st. We've been here about 4 weeks now. On the very first day, we check into the Airbnb, and I'm like, let's go explore. So we get on the metro. We stop off in this neighborhood called Laureles. Laureles is cool. We get into Lorella's, we're walking around. It's a commercial neighborhood. There's stores, there's people, it's lively. And we walk past this house, and it's this older man. He looks about 70, a 70-year-old Colombian man. And he's making conversation like, hola, ¿cómo estás? All of these things. So I'm talking to him, and I'm thinking he's just being, cordial, welcoming, nice. And he's like, oh, have a seat. And it was the seat in his front yard, not in his house, but in his front yard, like right by the sidewalk. I'm thinking he's showing me hospitality, like he's about to show me some fruits, or I don't know. So, and he's an older man. I think that's what got me too, is, I'm like, okay, I maybe I shouldn't be so scared. He's an older man, right? Maybe he's just trying to be nice. No. So I sit down right in his front yard, and he's like, oh, one moment, un momento. He comes back, and all I see is this man bending over me, trying to do that. He didn't kiss me. He didn't do that, but he tried. And when I saw him coming close to me with his lips perked, I mushed him. I mushed that old man so much, and I ran away. But on my very first day, I was just like, wow, this place is different. I learned my lesson. Don't talk to the men, not even the older ones, unless there's a purpose, unless there's a reason. Like, what do you want? Because you have to remember, prostitution is legal here. And no, I wasn't dressed like a lady of the night, and I was with my son walking. No indication that I gave him. But for some reason, he just did that. And so I think that's indicative of how men view the women or the access here. Like, they gonna try you. And also I've noticed, so that's the Colombian men. They come up in that culture. Like, there's working girls here. They gonna see if you working, or they're just, being nasty, right? But then you have the foreigners that come here. And I'm just speaking about the American men that I've met here. They're weird. 95% of them are off. What do I mean by that? Okay, so as women, especially as a mother, I'm not traveling for the nightlife. I'm not traveling to pick up men or to pick up women and to do that stuff type of stuff with. Um, I'm traveling for culture and the experience. But what I've noticed is that men who travel abroad to places such as Brazil, Colombia, Dominican Republic, right? What do those three countries have in common? They have a history of prostitution, a history of, you know, women or people not being financially stable and looking for a way out. And they're preying upon that. And so the Western men, the American men that I've come across here, they're lame, and they couldn't get women or a partner in the States. And so they come here and everybody sees that they're lame. Don't do that, Don't do that. But as a single woman, it's alarming because, I'm watching my back. I keep my conversation short with the guys unless I know them. Like, I'm taking Spanish at a Spanish school here. So I meet guys there and I may have a conversation with them. But you never know what their mentality is until you get to know them. I'm telling you, I know that sounds so extreme, but be careful of the men here, foreigners and the locals, period. Number 3, gringo pricing is real. So, estoy aprendiendo español. I'm learning Espanol, um, but it's still little by little, right? So I know how to say some things, get through the store process, but they can tell I'm not from here, obviously, just by looking at me. There's African Colombians, there's Afro Latinas here, but I don't know. I guess it's something about when you're a foreigner, you just look like it. So you get gringo price. Like, I remember, for example, Comuna 13. Comuna 13 is a wonderful neighborhood that I think everybody should go and see at least once in Medellin. It has a very crazy history, and the people there are strong. They are warriors. But because they went through such a challenging time, and now that Comuna Trece is such a touristy place, such a touristy place, they will gringo price you. So we went to Comuna Trece about a week ago. I went in there and asked for something to drink. I got my drink. I'm walking along the street, and a local Colombian was like, you have one of those drinks. I like them. That's about 10,000 pesos, or 10 million pesos, 10,000 Colombian pesos, 10,000. And I was like, I paid 30. I paid 30,000 Colombian pesos when it was really worth 10. I wanted to walk back to the store and go off on a lady, but it was too hilly. I was high. I said, you know what? I just won't be back. Right. And so that's the downside, is you never know when you're being taken advantage of. It's hard to get close to the locals. It is, because you don't know who they are, what their beliefs are, what they want from you. You never know. That's a real downside, because I would really like to make more local Colombian friends, but I'm very cautious. I have a couple that I wouldn't call them friends. I talk to them at the Spanish school or in passing, but it would take me a while for me to really feel comfortable with them, and like to know their true intentions. That's real. The panhandling is real. I mean, there's homelessness everywhere, but once again, they're gonna look at you and know that you're a gringo, and they're going to lay it on thick. And there's scams out here. They'll be dressed in like a nice shirt, and they're like, "Hi, I'm so and so. What's your name?" And that's how you know it's a scam. Like, what you want? Why are you shaking my hand? Why are you introducing yourself in English? What do you want? And it's usually they're gonna show you a pamphlet about starving children, or a school that needs funding, and just say no gracias, no gracias. So um, that throws you off, because if I'm looking for a place where I feel safe and comfortable, that doesn't really fit the bill, right? All right, the number four is the visas are getting harder and harder to come by. So when I first got here a few weeks ago, I met with a lawyer and I was gathering all my documentation so that I could start the visa process. Well, the more I got into it, the more I was like, this is going to cost a lot of money, number one. And number two, all these visas are getting denied. Of course, I'm a part of some of the Facebook groups, and then I talk to some of the expats here, and I follow the news. And Colombian visas are really a chance. It's a 50-50 chance, no matter if you're applying for the digital nomad visa, the marriage visa, the pensionado visa. Like, none of that guarantees that you're going to get it, even if you qualify for it on paper. It's just what they feel like at the time. And I'm just not willing to invest all that time. It's really the time, the energy, and the money that it would require for me to apply for the visa, and not, even though I qualify for it on paper, and you guys may not give it to me, and then I got to pay a lawyer like 1 or 2 thousand on top of me just not being sure if this is really what I want, because of the other reasons that I'm listing. So I've decided not to apply for a visa right now. We are able to stay in the country until about, for a while. You can stay in the country for a while. It's 6 months per calendar year, but since today is September 2026, Saturday, um, every January, the 6 months, the 180 days renews itself. So if you want to come and test it out before applying for a visa, I would suggest coming like in July, August, so that you could stay the whole rest of the year, and then 6 months until the next year. You get like a whole year for free without applying for the visa, and to see if you like it or not. So that's a big thing. I really want to find a place where, not saying they letting everybody in, but the visa process isn't so unpredictable. It's more secure, and it's a place that I really feel sure about, that I want to be in. Okay. Number five, not so safe. Medellin is not Pablo Escobar Medellin, but it is 2025 Medellin. What do I mean? Like, for example, when people used to be back in the 80s and 90s, how did people sell work? You know what work I'm talking about. They sold work on the corner. There was no cell phones, there was no social media. So, to sell my work, I need to go on the corner and hold it in my pocket. It was just more in your face. It was more accessible, right? But as time got older, now how do people sell work? We got dispensaries. We got cell phones. You can hit somebody up, and once you make that contact, they can drop. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, it doesn't mean that the crime or the work disappeared. It just means it went behind closed doors, is what I've learned about Medellin. Yes, a car bomb just went off in Cali, Colombia, about 3 weeks ago. So Cali, you do have your places, but here I live in Sabaneta. It's about 30 minutes away from Medellin. We got the metro here. I haven't heard of any crazy violent things, but I don't go out at night. I think I went out to dinner once. It was probably about 6 or 7. Caught an Uber, wasn't walking. I want to vlog and I want to take my camera and like show you guys some scenery, but I don't feel safe having my cell phone or my camera out for hours or a long time capturing stuff, because like I told you, I'm a gringo. I stick out. Like, even when they look at me, even if I'm just chilling, they're like, "Oh, she don't belong here." So you already got a target on your back, and so why put more on it? Yeah. And that's something to think about. Who wants to raise a family and to be a single woman in a place where you really do need to keep your head on a swivel? You really do. I haven't been robbed, thank God. I haven't had any crazy incidents, but that's because I be paying attention and I don't go out. I'm not in the nightlife. I don't be at the clubs. If I go out, it's with my son. It's to school. It's to the botanical gardens. It's to a tour. It's to the park. It's to the grocery store. It's stuff like that. So I can't speak for if you're going out. If I don't feel safe carrying a camera and vlogging during the day, and by the time sun goes down, I'm in the house, like, and I'm already using all these precautions, then imagine the precautions you need to use when you go out on the nightlife. Like, who wants to deal with that for real? So, and the sixth thing is the food. The food is it gets old real quick. It gets old real quick. One thing I do miss about Costa Rica is they had so many fruits. We had mimosas. We had like all types of mangoes and apples and like all the guava, all these things that I can't even pronounce nor remember, right? Jote is so good. Here, the fruits are pretty limited. It's like bland. They have apples, oranges, mangoes, but I ain't seen no mamon. I ain't seen, they do have soursop here, but it's just different. The food is not a lot of variety at all. It's the same stuff over and over and over and over and over. And they love their empanadas. You walk on every street corner, you're going to find like 6 vendors per street that sell empanadas. But it's like, can we get something else? I don't know what that is. I mean, the food, it does not taste bad. It's good food for the most part, depending on, of course, if you go to a good restaurant. But you get tired of it. You're like, okay, is there anything else? In Costa Rica, I don't feel like I got tired of the food. I did miss some of the food. Like, I missed regular nachos and regular tacos. And like, Costa Rica don't have that. They have like, their nachos and tacos are wet. Who wants that? But Medellin could, like, their food diet is very bland, and I miss, like, I don't enjoy cooking, but I do cook. But here in Medellin, I'm having a hard time grocery shopping because I don't know how to cook what they selling, if that makes sense. Like for breakfast, okay, pancakes, bacon, sausage, eggs. Okay, it took me a long time to even find bacon that was edible to us. Like their bacon was different. Um, and then I don't have nothing else to cook for breakfast. I'm just like bacon and sausage and eggs. Like, what else is there to get? I don't know. I don't know. And then for lunch and dinner, I just order Rappi a lot because it is affordable to order takeout for the most part. You know, you can get some good deals. For me and my son, if it was just me, I would save so much money. Oh my God. But for me and my son, and when I order Rappi, it's between like $12 and $20 per meal. $12 and $20, I can feed us. So these are the things that I have come to know about Medellin. I recommend that you come and check it out. Come and check it out. You know, it's an experience. I think when you're on this solo traveling thing, you don't be so hard on yourself. Like I was being really hard on myself. Like, oh my God, um, is there any place in the world that I'll like? But to be realistic, I've only been to two so far: Costa Rica and Colombia. And I just have to realize that this is a journey, and when I know, I'll know. When I get to the place that's meant for me, I will know. But until then, I'm grateful that I get to see the world, and while I'm still young enough to do so. That's another thing. Do not wait until you retire to travel. I mean, I'm 37, and me walking these hills and traveling, and it takes so much energy to do this. I couldn't imagine. By the time I retire, I'm not going to want to travel. By the time I retire, I'm going to have all of this out of my system. I'm going to be stationary in one place, and I'll be like, I'm good. So I couldn't imagine waiting until I was retired or retirement age to even start. So that's how I'm looking at it. But I hope you guys are well. These are just some things from a single black female perspective about Medellin that they don't tell you. Okay. I hope y'all have a great day. Peace.